Alright, it's time to do something about this damn 3070 Ti that keeps running hot. One fan down. We already tore it down previously to try to improve thermals. Even with only 2 fans out of 3 working on this EVGA XC3 model, we should not be hitting those temperatures on that core, even if the GPU is running a core intensive algorithm. So this guy keeps making my damn system restart all the time, and it's getting annoying. We need to do something about it. And here it is. You can see that last fan right here is not spinning, not working, even though I replaced it with a known working fan. It's almost like the PCB just won't give it power so that this last fan will spin. So I need to shut down this rig, take this GPU out, try to replace it, and see if we can't improve thermals. What's funny is it has a copper plate for the memory. It has a copper heatsink connected to the main cold plate. And the catch-22 is, if you're soaking up the heat, if you're dissipating the heat from your memory chips that are being overclocked and pushed into the same heatsink that the core is trying to dissipate, we could have additional issues, which is increased core temperatures because it's soaking up so much of the mem temperatures or thermal output. Either way, can we improve this? Because I'm getting tired of this. So let me shut this down, take this sucker out. Not going to be a teardown video. Going to replace it with Cryonaut Extreme, see what's going on with that cold plate and the connectivity with the core and the memory as well, and see if we at least reduce the temperatures in some form or fashion. Because even though we're 1 fan down, we should not be getting this damn hot. Simple overview. You got your 4 main screws to hold the GPU to the core, but then you got backplate screws, 1, 2, 3, right underneath your label right here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't think you need to remove these 2. And you can see the EVGA RGB like plate that goes right here. But just remove all of these and you'll be able to pull the cooler apart. And again, there's that copper plate that's on the memory. But is it too much of a gap? And that's why the core is getting too hot. Thus, it's not making good contact with the GPU core. The one annoying part is the 2 backplate screws on this side have a little nut that you have right here. You can barely see it, and you have to kind of like hold that in place while you take the screw apart. But also I noticed there's no thermal pads in the back side of this PCB. So I measured the gap, which is about 2.5 millimeter, and so maybe adding some thermal pads on the back side of the memory, yeah, we'll go to the, the back plate, but since we got server fans blowing across it, maybe that will help dissipate some extra heat as well. So might look into an option of putting those on there as well. We do got some thermal pads on the back side of the PCB for the GPU core, and you can see where most of the chokes or inductors are sitting on the front side here. Also cool on the back side, you can see how greasy it looks when you look at the thermal pads, losing some of its material. These look about 3 mil, this one and this one, and then this one looks about 1.5 mil that sits behind the core. But again, adding memory or thermal pads to the back side of the memory here might help us out and reducing those thermals and getting some of that heat away from the core, but still keeping the mem in check. Because the mem run around 70 degrees Celsius. It's the core that keeps hitting 91 and triggering the watchdog restart, 92 degrees Celsius, 93 degrees Celsius, and that's underclocking and undervolting. So we need to find a stable solution. Yeah, this thing is super dry. Crusty pieces, not wet at all. Thermal pad looks like crap on the inductors even. The Cryonaut Extreme in the center just dried up. I mean, just overheating way too much. So I really need to clean all these memory modules up. Not going to put the copper plate back on. We're just going to go back to thermal pads. Even though this is supposed to improve your performance, I think something's amiss here. So we're just going to go back to memory pads or thermal pads, replace the thermal pads on the inductors. I'm going to measure everything, and then maybe the thermal paste application between the 2 copper plates was just too thick. You can see most of that is from the bottom side, and then here's the top side, and again it's just falling apart falling apart big time. So fresh thermal paste application and see if we can improve this thing's life, because this is just bad. Alright, it's reinstalled. We're back up and running, and you can see that I really downclocked this GPU a lot. So the 3070 Ti is only doing 11 mega hash because it's downclocked significantly, right? Core plus 330. There is no added memory at 2251. Temperature 6176. So looking a lot better on the 3070 Ti. But now we got to overclock it a little bit to try to get extra hash rate out of it, because this card is sitting nowhere near what it's supposed to be. And the other card that's running hot, the 3070, 8 gig, 77 degrees, is a Zotac card that has no heatsink on it. And the other card that's running at 77 degrees Celsius is the 3070 from Zotac that actually has no fan shroud or fans on it, just pure heatsink. So I'm not really too concerned about that. It just literally takes air from the fans and goes out that way. So let's see if we can overclock the 3070 Ti a little bit and get it closer to where it should be reporting. Well, we solved one problem, but the memory temperatures I do not like. So we're gonna have to drop the power limit, the power draw just a little bit more than that. It is going down. I did drop it from 280 watts, which is the recommended spec, down to like 250. Core temperature's dropping down, but that 3070 Ti is definitely running hot. 3060 probably could do a repace. Again, this Zotac doesn't even have a fan shroud on it. And then the 3080 normally runs that hot on them. And then this is the A2000, which is about as good as it's gonna get, because I did hardware mod it, or you know, do the shunt resistor mod on it. If you're interested in know how to do that, I did that on my channel a while ago. You can probably find that video looking for the A2000. But the 3070 Ti is better, because when the core hit 92, 93, the whole system would shut down, wait a little bit, restart, at least where you can consistently stay online. But like the 3070 Ti, the 3080s of this generation, the memory temperatures do exceed my comfortability range. There we go, we just dropped down to 98, 78 on the core, so we're going to be fluctuating on that. But that's one of the drawbacks on this 30 series cards. But at least we got it better. All right, the core was the main problem. Memory could probably do a little bit better. That's why I put the copper plate on it. But it obviously didn't work out to the degree that I was hoping for. But as long as this rig doesn't keep shutting down every 2 seconds, I am happy. And that's going to do it for today's video. So do me a favor on the way out, hit that like button, get subscribed, hit the notification bell to stay up to date, as well as check out additional links in the description to help support the channel and what we do here. And I'll catch you in the next one.